So I had a comment the other day saying, Josh, can you make a 2-3-3-2? Now I sat back and thought, do you know what? I'll give it a go, and do you know what? We absolutely cooked up here. A tactic that scores over 330 goals at its best, and trust me, it's a load of fun to play with. I will say it is slightly more tailored to the top teams, as you have two centre-backs. That is pretty common sense, but we also did throw in a smaller team as well, and the results were pretty impressive. Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe, and as always, keep the comments coming below what you wish to see next. So we're going to kick things off then with Manchester City, a team obviously over in the Premier League where we enjoyed and embarked on a fantastic season. I mean, 34 wins, 1 draw and just 3 losses. Erling Haaland 57 goals, Doku 33, Julian Alvarez with 31 as well. 3 players in the average rating and 3 players when it comes to the most assists. And clean sheets, we are not going to be up there, as you can see. We're going to be in 3rd place, so not a bad display, but definitely not 1st place by any means of that wonderful imagination. Most shots and the most goals though, and I mean most goals. This might be a record breaker at 202 in the league alone. We weren't that great defensively, but we outscored everyone, and that's all that matters, because that's what win your games at the end of the day. They'll go into the data hub, 5.32 goals per game, just over a goal conceded a game, but when you're scoring, you know, 5 more roughly compared to what you are going to be conceding, or 4 more shall I say, it's not a worry at all. It does not worry me in one bit of my mind. 24.95 shots a game, a decent sort of pass completion considering how attacking and sort of wild this tactic is. It's never going to have a 90% pass completion because it's not a possession-based tactic. Overall, a really good set of results, but of course, it doesn't stop there with Man City. We are also going to go and win the Champions League against ourselves in Celtic in 7-4 fashion, an 11-goal UCL thriller. We are going to win the Super Cup 5-3 against Sevilla. The FA Cup, we won't talk about. The Carabao Cup, we are also going to win in 3-1 fashion as well. So a really, really strong season. And as you can imagine, you are going to concede a goal here or there, but you're going to go out and score 4 or 5. So you can't complain. Perfect game to show you. It's not a final, but it is a Premier League fixture against Villa where we beat them 7-0, and every single goal a different goal scorer. And that is why this tactic is so fun and great to play with. The first goal is going to be coming in from Philip Foden. A great goal there, working off the scraps. Guardiola back into the middle, back out to the right-hand side. Kyle Walker into the bottom left-hand corner. 2 different goal scorers. Erling Haaland make it 3 different goal scorers. Jack Grealish puts the ball into the box, and it is going to be off Rodrigo, coming in for 4 different goal scorers. Walker out into Guardiola, takes on his man, ball inside. That is going to be Doku, make that 5 different goal scorers. As now it is going to be Doku with a great first touch into Haaland, into Alvarez, make that 6 different goal scorers. And you guessed it, one last one. That is going to be Walker playing it in the middle, and it is going to be Grealish, 7 goal scorers. Then go over to 3rd place predicted by Leverkusen, obviously over in the Bundesliga, because I thought they've got an array of attack and talent. The fullbacks are absolutely incredible, and it's not a powerhouse. So let's go and test with it, and we had a great time. 91 points in the league, 41, 34, 24 for Boniface, Holzek and Pat Schlick. We also go into the average rating, 8.17, 8.16 and 8.09 with Hoffman, Frimpong and Ronaldo first and joint second when it comes to the assist. If there's one thing you're going to listen to, make sure you've got good attacking wingbacks, because trust me, you're going to need it. And going over to the clean sheets again, we're not going to hide this fact. 2nd favourites here and down in 5th when it comes to this regard, but 142, over double of 2nd place. The most shots, the fewest shots against, and the most points per game. Yes, you're going to concede, but yes, you'll go out and well, we will actually see, won't we? You will go out and you will score 4.18 goals a game. Don't even question it, because at this point, I'd happily concede 2 a game if I'm scoring 4 goals. You've still got double bubble, double comfort. It's absolutely incredible. A great amount of shots per game. Pass completion relatively the same. The tackle win ratio a little bit higher though, which is a little bit interesting. And hand on heart, I can't really explain why, because it is the same tactic being tested. Now going over to the competitions, we also go out and win the Europa League against Liverpool, a very strong team in 3-1 fashion. And the Pokal, we absolutely blitz Union Berlin 9-1. Now I will say, This goes to show that you can play this tactic against a stronger team and still win the game. It's Football Manager. It's not a real football experience. It's a video game, things are broken, and clearly this might be one of them, because Liverpool should not be, you know, struggling against a team that has 2 at the back. But do you know what? In this game, you can get away with a lot, and clearly this is one of the things. Let's go and watch some highlights. So a little fun fact, this actual, you know, Pockle final, which we won 9-1, we actually go 1-0 down, which is quite interesting. I'm not going to lie to you, I made 0 tactical tweaks because I was so confident within this tactic in itself, and we actually bounced back around 38 seconds later, I believe, with Boniface tucking it into the bottom right, stepping up into the bottom right as well. We absolutely love it. Ball in behind into Holzek, little cut back, then go on into the middle into Schlick, and at this point the goals were absolutely raining in. And you know, Boniface, when he gets firing, he don't stop. He absolutely loves it. He dies for 3 points, he does, as he just carries on going, goal after goal after goal. And pause it right here. So as you can see, we have got so many players in the attack. I mean, he's taken the throw, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people you can obviously get involved in this attack. And when you've got that amount of players, I mean, look at the carnage in the box. You can't mark everyone, and it goes to show with Holzek obviously winning the header there. As now Florian Wirtz down the left-hand side, very similar story. Xhaka, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 player making a run. That is Frimpong, as he should be doing. Xhaka actually goes to Grimaldo, who comes inside and does get the goal there, as Frimpong places to Xhaka, back out to Frimpong, cuts in. Oh my, it's absolutely beautiful. It might be one of the best attacking tactics you're ever going to see this year. It's such a good tactic, and it just carries on. This will be the tactic at its very best. It is obviously with an incredible powerhouse in Celtic. 38 out of 38 wins, ridiculous stat line, 66 goals, 43-35. This will be best of the best, so I understand not everyone's playing as this much of a dominant team, but for those of you that are, you might want to put your feet up and just enjoy your life, because you've got to dominate every single game. And as you can see, it's going to be a complete whitewash in terms of goals, average rating and assists. What I will say as well, when it comes to conceded, you are going to also take that reward home, because again, we are by far the most dominant team. Rangers are pretty close, but obviously Celtic just about edge it in this game. Possession, we're going to have that as well. It goes to show how easy the Scottish League can actually be. I'm not going to factor that in as a real outstanding stat line, because that is not the reality in a lot of these seasons. The fewer shots against though, the most shots for, and the most goals, 123 more than Rangers, that's something. And obviously a perfect 3 points per game, so I mean, you can't really complain about that. Now, of course, the data hub is going to make you... It's going to be special. 5.87 goals a game, only 0.89 conceded. We are actually nearly... That's mental. We are nearly scoring 5 goals compared to what we are conceding, 25.16 shots per game, an immaculate pass completion, and a very good tackle win ratio. And of course, we win other things. We get to the Champions League final, where we knock ourselves out, obviously in the final. The Scottish Cup, we are going to win 5-1 against St Johnstone, and the Viaplay Cup, we're going to win 5-0 against Rangers. I mean, yeah. I'm cooking up a storm. I see the Mighty Tractor Boys, we absolutely love it. We love testing with Ipswich, such a good team in this game, and I will say 10th place prediction is so false, because they perform like a powerhouse. So I will say, again, not one of the weaker teams in the Championship, but in the game sense, 10th place predicted. So... you know, it is what it is, but this is what you can expect. I will be honest, and I will say this right off the bat, I'm not going to hide it. We were quite low down in terms of defensive display. 6th and 7th, that is where we really struggled. But because we outscored everyone by so many goals, that is why we were able to do what we done. And for some reason, out of all the teams in the video, I mean, Man City, Leverkusen, Celtic... Ipswich had the most shots, I believe, and it was such a good attack and display. And as you can see, 5.33 goals a game, the most conceded at 1.37, which is a little bit unfortunate, but still nearly a 4-goal perfect margin. 23 shots per game, a great pass completion, and a very good tackle win ratio. And the real standout here is not the Carabao Cup, but the FA Cup. We actually beat Liverpool 4-0. And for those of you that are wondering, yes, it was against a full-strength Liverpool team, apart from Alisson, but they usually do play Kelleher in cups anyway. And as you can see, it was a very comfortable game. Off the stat lines alone, we are going to go and watch the actual game, though. And of course, against a team like Liverpool, you can't really fault anything from these set of highlights, because however good the goals are in terms of quality, you put 4 goals past Liverpool, and... again, one of many reasons why you need to also go and get the set pieces, because they do contribute a lot to these tactics as well, as Connor Chaplin levers it into the top right, and Liverpool didn't have a single answer. They let one more goal come in, great ball into the box, it's direct, it's beautiful. But now, of course, over to your favourite part of the video, that is going to be the tactic breakdown. If you are enjoying back home, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell wherever you see it above there. And if you want to get all 3 tactics today, you want them on console, you want them on mobile, you want my rebuild files on the second channel, you want the rebuild tactics, you want access to this month's giveaway, which is £375 split between 5 people, so a big chance of winning. You can come over and join the Patreon in the link below. We offer several things on top of those perks, and you can join the other 4,600 people. It's a massive community, loads of hype, loads of energy. We absolutely love it. If you love FM, you need to be there. Let's go over and talk about this tactic. So originally, this took a long time to make, and it still did. Now, I've never seen a tactic like this, exactly how this performs, and it is a little bit out there. So the only way you can really describe it is to start off from a create your own style, because to be honest, there is nothing like a manager like this, in my opinion. I couldn't turn to Pep Guardiola and get inspiration, so I had to turn to JoshDaly, and this is what we have done. So we're going to load in any formation, because to be honest with you, we're going to work our way up and completely shapeshift it anyway. Let's just put players up here for a second so we can focus on the back sort of 3, because this tactic is a little bit wild. So in fact, what I'll do so I don't confuse myself is I will put people out here just to remind myself of the original shape. So let's go through and talk about this system then. So it is technically classified as a 4-1-5 if you go off the game, but in my opinion it is a 2-3-3-2. So let's go over the back line. So the sweeper keeper is simply going to be set to attack. Again, I rarely add more instructions onto this. I keep him simply on the default. So as you can see here, he has got 2 instructions there, and he is going to be quite a risk-taking goalkeeper, and that is, obviously you can see it, it's in terms of his passing risks, not as in it's going to come out and, you know, mammo noise to the halfway line necessarily. It just means his passing is going to be a bit risky, and I want him to be having sort of, you know, I don't want to hold back on his passing range, because we've got so many people. Make sure you're using your goalkeeper at the end of the day. Now, when it comes to the back line, it gets a little bit wild, because obviously I would like to have ball playing defenders, and we do opt to have 2, but they are going to have quite a few instructions for ball playing defenders. They are actually going to be on dribble more, stay wider, and also tackle harder. Now, there's one thing this tactic you cannot say. It's definitely not negative. This tactic starts up from the back, and we allow our ball players to actually have the license to get involved in the attack, dribble more, pass to midfield, and yes, it can cause you conceding the odd goal here or there, but majority of the time, well, as you saw with all the teams, you outscore by so much, and you don't do that without taking the risks this 2-back tactic actually makes. Now, going over to the wing backs, we are going to have 2 exactly the same, and they are actually quite basic. They are going to be both wing backs on attack, and by the default, they already have 2 instructions. We are going to decide to add shoot less often, because I definitely don't really want them doing that, and we're also going to have tackle harder. That is the same for the right and also the left hand side, to tackle harder and also shoot less often. That is all you need for these wing backs, literally all you need. Now in the midfield, you could go with an anchor. I personally preferred a defensive midfield player who is going to be set to defend, and we are going to have him on take fewer risks and also tackle harder. Essentially, this man in the middle has got the whole world to do. He has got the whole world to conquer. He needs to sit deep, hold his position, not do anything too special, don't dribble with the ball, don't take a lot of risks, defend, simple pass, left, right, back, forwards, I don't care, just a simple pass, and do not make a mistake. Now, going over to the inside forwards, that is right, 2 inside forwards, pretty much the only role which you can really have in this system to make it work the best of the best. We are going to go with 2 inside forwards, who are both going to be set to attack, and yeah, they are going to have instructions, just 2 each. That is going to be roam from position and also tackle harder. I really like having these instructions on these inside forwards, because the roaming ability is just so good to see, and obviously they're inside forwards because the wing backs are going to overlap, hence why they can't just be wingers staying out wide, because I want them to come inside the wing backs to overlap. And as you saw in the highlights, that is why you'll see so many people in the box not really getting in each other's way. They're in really good positions, and they're basically impossible to stop. Now, going into the middle, and get your notepad out, boys and girls, because there's a lot of instructions right now. So I'm going to look on this monitor because I had to note it down because there's so many. An attacking midfield player on support, on take more risks, we're going to have him on dribble more, we're going to have him on shoot less often, move into the channels, and also tackle harder. So essentially with this guy, he is the creative masterpiece. He's the creative player. I don't want him having shots at the goal. I want him roaming, moving, being an absolute nuisance, getting into different pockets, picking up the ball, shifting left to right, but do not have shots. I don't want him to have shots. I want him purely to be the attacking midfield player, the creator, because we actually have two advanced forwards, which is absolutely broken in this game, and they are simply both going to be on the default to the team instructions. So a clean slate on the attacking mentality. We are going to go all the way up to wide. We're going to focus down the left and the right hand side of the pitch with a shorter passing directness matched with a wonderful higher tempo. We're going to run at defence with work ball into the box, and on this occasion I'm actually going to go with low crosses. You know I love a bit of low crosses. Now in transition we are going to go with counter press and counter, and when you counter, it's safe to say you counter. You've got your wing backs, your front three and your front two. It's going to be very hard to stop, and this is a really good sort of image to look at. Now obviously we have got good wide players, we've got inside forwards, we've got wing backs pushing up, which is why I have gone and decided to distribute to the flanks with no favoured distribution type. He can throw it long, he can take long kicks, short kicks, just get it to the flanks. And lastly, we are going to the outer possession, where we are going to have a standard line, a mid-block line of engagement, sorry, because that is pretty much the way to play with this, so you're not too far pushed up much more often and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Now let's go into the attacking and defensive tactics. You definitely need the defensive ones because this isn't exactly a defensive system. So now if you're trying to score more goals, or maybe you're dominating a game but can't get your goal, I was rarely in that situation. It probably happened about twice where I was drawing 2-2 or something. This always got me over the line. So the goalkeeper does remain the same, as does both of the ball playing defenders. The wing backs also remain unchanged because again you can't really do too much else. A deep line playmaker is going to come in on more direct passes and tackle harder. Probably the biggest change of this system is just having a real progressive playmaker in that deep sort of midfield area. The inside forwards are now both going to be exactly the same, with the shadow striker replacing the attacking midfield player. Obviously can form three strikers up front with him in the team, and both of the advanced forwards are going to remain unchanged. Obviously not too much you can change to make it more attacking. The defensive one does look a little bit different, but I will say we made big changes in the team instructions for the attacking one, so do stick around. So clean slate, very attacking, very attacking. We are going to go with wide when it comes to the attack and width. We're going to overlap left, overlap right, focus down the right and the left. You know how we do. We're going to pass the ball into the space with a slightly shorter passing directness match with a higher tempo. Of course, because we are on very attacking, we can't time waste. That is pretty common sense. We're going to run at the defence and also go with be more expressors, and we are going to have low crosses. Now I will say this is an attacking variant of an attacking tactic. You are going to concede a goal now and then. It's a complete risk take, but if you desperately need a goal, this is the way you've got to play. So do not use this tactic and not expect to maybe go and concede a goal. But if you're in the Champions League final, 5 minutes left, you're already having an attacking tactic, you need that extra something, at that point just take a risk, because that is what football is all about. Now in transition, we are going to go with counter press, counter, distribute quickly, and distribute to the flanks. Again, no real reason to change any of this apart from distribute quickly. And lastly, out of possession, we're going to maintain that mid block, but we really are going to compress the team now with a high defensive line, get stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and of course, much more often when it comes to the trigger press. And a much needed defensive variant to really just soak up the pressure, go down to a real short passing style, and actually dominate the ball quite a fair bit. The goalkeeper does remain the same, the ball players don't remain the same. They're the same role, both on stay wider and tackle harder, but this time, no dribble more. No dribble more. The wing backs on the left and on the right hand side, two instructions: shoot less and tackle harder. Pretty self-explanatory. In the midfield, DM, on defend, on pass it shorter, take fewer risks, and of course tackle harder. And we can go out to the left-hand side and the right-hand side and find two inside forwards on support, simply on pass it shorter and roam from position. Now working our way into the central area, we are going to have the attacking midfield player on support, on pass it shorter, roam and move into the channels. And as we finish off this tactic, the defensive tactic, we are going to remain with two unchanged advanced forwards. To the team instructions. A clean slate on the balance mentality, a big change in this system. We are going to go through and talk about it. We are are going to maintain the width being set to wide. This time, we're going to focus down the left and the right. Of course, we're not going to directly ask for lots of overlaps, and now we are trying to run the clock down. So alongside of, quickly changing that to low crosses, we're going to play for set pieces. Make sure you've got mine downloaded over on the Patreon, because they absolutely cook. It's a ridiculous batch of set pieces this year. Time wasted is going to be set to the absolute max. We're going to dribble less. We're going to be more disciplined. The tempo in the middle, the directness is going to be set to shorter, or much shorter, shall I say, sorry, which does change the tempo to slightly lower as well. So a really possession-orientated side that's not even too focused on going out and, scoring goals. It's to frustrate and wind up the opposition. In transition, we've got a counter press. We're not going to counter now because we don't really need a direct approach. We're going to slow the pace down, and this time, to eliminate risks, we're going to play to the centre-backs and simply roll the ball out. It's all about running the clock down and being sensible. And lastly, out of possession, we are going to maintain the standard line, the mid-block, stay on feet, and actually leave this trigger press bang on in the middle. And that's going to complete for you boys and girls back home 3 variants of this insane madness tactic. I will say it's absolutely mental. Hopefully you have enjoyed. If you've got any unique tactic concepts you want to see, please keep them coming. The plan is to make generic tactics, being something like this, your 4-2-3-1s, basically any tactic not based around a manager, until the new season comes out. And then we're going to have constant real life tactics coming. So keep the comments coming, because I am going to make a big list, especially of real life managers you want to see, and they're going to be coming out pretty frequently because I've dedicated my entire life to this. So hopefully you do enjoy. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.